how we can leverage sticky, PSIF, HRA, these different high-risk activities to really dive deeper into safety and create that proactive safety program. What is sticky? What is PSIF? And how do we focus on this?
Well, first of all, sticky literally stands for the shit that can kill you.
Some of the other terms up there, PSIF, HRA. PSIF is, and you may have heard of SIF, which is very similar. It's potential for serious incident fatality. HRA, high risk activity. Really, these things all boil down to the same concept. It's taking our focus and putting it on the things that have the most high risk potential on our job sites. Really, we want to talk about different ways to incorporate these types of programs into your safety program so we can start focusing on the things that are really getting our people hurt the most.
We've found it really important that we shift towards looking at sticky. It is a proactive approach. In our construction industry in the United States, fatalities have increased, and that's not acceptable. As an industry, we need to do something about it, and so Sundt is pretty much taking the lead to do something about it with our program to stop the sticky. It speaks their language and it gets their attention. I can go up to any worker on any one of my job sites and I can ask them, hey, what does sticky mean? And they can tell me what it means.
Yep.
But further, they can actually tell me what they're doing today that is sticky, and even further, what they're doing to control that sticky energy. It's awesome, and it really speaks their language. They have bought into it, and they get it. They like it.
3 main pillars that I'm looking at: reduction in serious incidents, fatalities. We've already talked about that. It also increases the planning process on projects. And then third pillar, resource allocation.
I want to give you a couple examples, especially along the lines of enhanced planning and collaboration. We are using our scheduling software. With safety professionals are working with schedulers and superintendents to plug in on our schedules where we have sticky activity. So a big crane pick that's coming up. We're working together right now. We're collaborating on putting those in the schedule. So when they come up with the 6 weeks look ahead, a little flag will say, hey, make sure we're getting pick plans and looking at these things. That's one really neat example, but I also wanted to share what we're doing along the lines of resource allocation. When we start a new project, we have a project safety plan, just like any contractor does. You've got to have this document that talks about how you're going to manage safety on the project. In that document, we have sticky activities and controls, and what we're doing is looking at these far ahead in advance, maybe a year or more before we even go build the project, and we're able to allocate resources like money for, say, a buck hoist instead of having personnel carry stuff upstairs. It's really awesome what we're doing with allocating things in advance and planning ahead.
There's numerous places that we can incorporate sticky PSIF into our current safety programs. Reese, you just want to talk through what that sticky walk process looks like for Sundt?
It's something we've done to really integrate sticky into our daily operations. It's a weekly expectation for each one of our operations employees to go out and do at least one sticky walk. And what that means is they use our safety app. It's got our Fatality broken up in different categories. So for example, shit that's built at heights, that could be a sticky walk that I'm going to go do, and I'm going to go watch these iron workers erect a steel building. So I'm going to go do the sticky walk, and it's control based. So it asks just a few questions, and if the answer to all those questions is yes, then that means we're controlling sticky and no one's going to get seriously hurt or killed in that activity. It dives further when we do answer no and maybe there is a control that's missing. It guides us into what's basically a mini causal analysis on the spot.
So how do we utilize the data? Making sure you have a plan to collect the data.
All of our data that we put in our sticky walks, our incident, it gets dashboarded, and we're able to look at the data and educate ourselves on where we should be focusing our time and energy, what training things we should be working on. So I can look and see why we are exposing people to sticky. It's interesting to be armed with that knowledge so that we can do something about it, the behavior.
So I always like to preach, be intentional with your data, try to categorize it. A lot of times you have to learn from heartburn.
Why do people get exposed to sticky? Why? We're sitting there why does it come to this? It's just being real and think about why people end up in the situations they end up. That's how we came up with those categories.
My main point here is just getting really intentional with your data and understanding how to collect it, and then actually utilizing it once you collect it.
So this little plug for HammerTech, the way that the dashboarding is integrated, I think is such a cool feature. You have it built in on your platform at HammerTech is pretty neat. And I think that saves a lot of heartburn. And I would recommend people to at least consider it for that reason alone. No trade secrets and safety is what I like to say.